This video that you're going to watch will be one of the most wanted video among PMP aspirants, and I am 200% sure about it. Why I have this much confidence? It's for a simple reason. It's because on a daily basis, if I check my emails, at least 5 students in a day used to ask me, Gautham, can you please create a content around this topic? Okay, now let me get straight into the point. In this video, I'm going to talk about predictive process flow. What do I mean by that? When you're doing your project in waterfall life cycle, from start to end, what are the documents you should make and what are the process you should follow, I am going to discuss, and that too in which order you have to do. What is the first step? What is the second step? What is the third step? And so on. Trust me, when you are at the end stages of your PMP exam prep, this video will be a game changer for you. And I'm not going to leave you with that. Most importantly, at the end of the video, I'm going to reveal a free giveaway that every PMP aspirants is going to get. So what is that free giveaway and how to get it? When you are staying with me until the end of the video, you will get to know. You have no option. You have to stay with me. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Hey guys, my name is Gautham Sudhakar. I'm working as head of training department with EduHubSpot. Before I start explaining predictive process flow, I would like to set up the expectations upfront. One, this video is a long video. Please make sure that you're watching this video when you actually have time. Yeah, take that time and watch the complete video. Only then you can able to achieve the benefit of this particular video. Second, and this is the most important one, please don't go under the assumption after you complete watching this particular video, your concept on waterfall will be crystal clear. No. Let me explain for whom this video is for. This video is for PMP aspirants whose concepts are already strong in waterfall lifecycle, but they are unclear about which thing will happen first, what next, what third. When you are falling under that particular category, trust me, this video, as I mentioned in my intro, will be a game changer. When your concept itself is not so strong on waterfall lifecycle, I would kindly request, please make your concept strong, then watch this video. With these expectations, let's get started. I'm going to discuss predictive process flow by using a flow chart, and that flow chart is something you are seeing on the screen. Yeah, we as a company have created predictive process flow chart. With this, let's try to understand the process flow. Now, any waterfall project can be divided into 5 phases. Phase number 1 is pre-initiation, and after you complete pre-initiation, a waterfall project will be entering into initiation phase, and after that planning phase will happen, and after that execution, after that monitoring and controlling. I should not use the word after execution, monitoring and controlling, because execution and monitoring and controlling will happen in parallel. While the project is getting executed, you as a project manager should do monitoring and controlling as well. Once the execution phase is over, closure phase will start. That's where we'll be closing our waterfall project. So now what we are going to do, we will be discussing the processes that is going to happen in each and every phases. So let's get started with pre-initiation phase. In pre-initiation phase, or in general in waterfall project, the first document that gets created is business needs document. Who will create this business needs document? A person who is sponsoring the project. This means project sponsor. What will be the content inside that business needs document? Consider that business need as a 1-pager Word document. In that, project sponsor will be writing as a part of the project what we are going to do. What are the major deliverables, risk, assumption, these kind of things will be written in the business need document. Now let's take an example. Consider your project is to construct an apartment. So what you can write means what sponsor can write in business need. As a part of the project, what we are going to construct? An apartment. What are the major deliverables of the apartment? In my apartment, I need a living room, I need a kitchen, I need a balcony, and so on. Now, at the time of sponsor creating needs document, sponsor will do an analysis called needs analysis. What is needs analysis? Sponsor will take the organization goals and then sponsor will analyze whether this project will be really contributing to the goals of the company or not. Now let's take our construction of an apartment project. So definitely when you're constructing an apartment, you will be working in a construction company. Consider your company's goal is like within 2030, your company has to be a X dollar revenue generation company. So what sponsor will analyze whether this construction of the apartment, whether the apartment that you're going to construct will really contribute in achieving that X dollar revenue or not. When it is not achieving, means when the project will not contribute to the company's goal, sponsor will take a decision called no-go. Let's not do the project. When sponsor took a no-go decision, what will happen? Let's follow this particular arrow. Here we go. Project will be closed. Let's say sponsor analyzed and sponsor has found out this project, apartment project, will contribute to the company's goal. What decision sponsor will take? Go decision. Once the go decision is taken, the next two documents that will be created in parallel is project business case and then project benefits management plan. Who will create business case and benefits management plan? Of course, sponsor. Sponsor is the one who will be creating these plans. Now, let's talk about business case. What is business case? It's a one-pager Word document. When sponsor is creating the business case, sponsor will do economic feasibility study. What is economic feasibility study? Sponsor will be analyzing, okay, for this project, I'm going to make X dollar investment. What is the value this project should give to the company? Sponsor will quantify the value. Let's take our apartment project. Sponsor will analyze, what, for constructing this apartment, I am planning to make X dollar investment. And what is the value, what is the revenue this apartment should give to the company? That will be quantified. Now, this information will be inside business case. Now let's talk about the next plan, which is benefits management plan. This is also a one-pager Word document. As the name suggests, the details of benefits you will be having in benefits management plan. Sponsor has already analyzed, right? This apartment project should give this much value to the company. When that value this project should give and how I'm going to measure that risk, these things will be there inside the benefits management plan. So now, based on the business case and benefits management plan, sponsor will again take a decision of go or no go. Consider sponsor took no go decision. When sponsor will be taking no go decision, if the project is not giving much value to the company. If it is no go, let's follow this arrow. Here we go. What will happen? Sponsor will close the project. Means sponsor will do all the closure activities. Now, on the other case, while sponsor is creating business case and benefits management plan, sponsor has found out this project will give very good value to the company. That's it. Sponsor will take what decision? Go decision. Once sponsor took go decision, from pre-initiation phase, your project will move to initiation phase. Now, let's talk about what will happen in the initiation phase. Once a project enters into the initiation phase, the first document that gets created and declared is project charter. Now the next question comes, Gautham, who will create and declare this? Of course, sponsor. Sponsor is the one who creates project charter and declare. What is the purpose of creating and declaring project charter? Simple. Sponsor has already decided, let's do this project, right? How sponsor will officially announce his or her decision? Hey, I have made a decision, let's construct this apartment by declaring project charter. Now, What is the purpose of creating and declaring project charter? Formal authorization. Once the charter is declared, that's it. Your project gets officially authorized. Now, what is charter? Project charter is nothing but it's a one-pager Word document. What are all the information you will have in that one-pager Word document? Name of the project manager will be there. For example, sponsor can write, Gautham is the project manager for this project. And what is the authority and responsibility Gautham has? Along with that, the name and responsibility and authority of the project sponsor also will be mentioned in the project charter. And project charter, there are some optional content also should be there in the project charter. Project charter will have all the high level information of the project. Yeah, cool. Once the charter is declared, that's it. Your project is officially authorized. Then what next? In initiation phase, as a project manager, you have to start identifying stakeholders. So who are stakeholders? Stakeholders are an individual or a group of person or an organization who can positively or negatively impact the project, or they consider that because of this project, I am getting impacted. So they are stakeholders. As a next step, project manager will start identifying project stakeholders. Okay, now you as a PM identified stakeholders. What next? As a PM, you have to document all the identified stakeholders' name in a document, right? So you will create a document called stakeholder register. That's the next step. So now consider stakeholder register as an Excel file. So what that stakeholder register will have? All the stakeholder names and the basic information of the stakeholders, their phone number, their email ID, which country they are located, whether they are internal or external stakeholders. And one important information stakeholder register will have is you can write the expectations of each stakeholders on your project. So that can be one of the important information. That's it. In the initiation phase, these three things will happen. Now, once the initiation phase is completed, you will be entering into one of the biggest phase called planning. Now, by just looking at the flow chart, I will just scroll down the flow chart a little bit. You guys can easily see planning is where I have written a lot of things. So this means from this, what you have understood. Simple. Planning phase is when in Waterfall project, you as a project manager should put a lot of effort. Yeah, cool. So now let's deep dive into planning phase. In planning phase, the first document that project manager should create is project management plan. So before we talk about, the project management plan, let's have an overview. Let's try to understand an overview about what will happen in planning phase. Simple. In planning phase, you as a project manager will plan the project. Cool. Now, let's discuss step by step and let's try to understand what is mean by planning. Means in planning, how you're going to plan the project. Let's get started. As I already said, in planning phase, the first document that will be get created is project management plan. Consider this project management plan as a one-pager Word document. In that Word document, what you actually write as a project manager is how to execute, monitor and control and close the project. So this is the information you will be writing in project management plan. Now, whenever I say this in my live training that I teach, right, one common question students ask is, okay, Gautham, in definition standpoint, I understood. But Gautham, what do you mean by how to execute, how to monitor and control and how to close? So can you show a template of a project management plan? Can you give some examples so that I can easily understand? This is one of the common questions I get whenever I talk about project management plan. Now, let me show you a template and let's discuss an example so that you guys will have a crystal clear clarity on project management plan. Let's get going. So what you're seeing on my screen is project management plan. This is the first document you must create. Now, let's see the content inside the project management plan so that you will have a better understanding. Cool. So now you can see here, I am creating project management plan for our apartment construction project. Yeah. So in project management plan, you can write project overview. For example, my project name. Consider my project name itself is constructing an apartment. That's a project. My project objective that you can write inside project management plan. So what does objective means? Objective means goals of the project. As a part of the project, what I want to achieve. So let's read this particular example. Consider I want to construct a residential apartment building within the approved budget, on schedule, and in compliance with all quality and safety standards. So what is this? This is a target I want to achieve. Location, you can write it where this project will be handled. Bangalore. Bangalore is a city in India and which I am living. That's why I have given this name. Consider this apartment is something I'm going to construct in Bangalore. So that's why I have given location as Bangalore. Project duration. 12 months. You want to get this project done within 12 months. So this is a target you are setting for this particular project. Not you. Actually, in project's charter, I told you, right, sponsor will be giving you the high level information. So definitely you will have high level schedule also in project charter. When sponsor wants you to complete this particular project, by what time duration. You can copy this 12 months from there. So moving forward, you as a project manager should plan your project so that you are completing within 12 months. And then you can write the name of the key stakeholders. This is something you can refer to stakeholder register, because in stakeholder register, you have already identified all the stakeholders. There you will find the key stakeholders names as well. Okay, next. What will be the content in the project management plan? Gautham, I understood. I will have project overview. What will be the next content? So kindly be aware, in this plan, you guys will be writing what are the subsidiary plans that I'm going to create moving forward. So that is the information you have to write inside this project management plan. So now let's discuss one by one and let's try to understand the definition I have made. Okay, let's move on. I'm scrolling down. Here we go. So you will be writing how to define your project scope. For example, kindly read my example, this one. How to plan and control the scope of the project will be defined in the requirements and scope management plan. This will be created by the project manager. So now actually I am defining the project scope. No, I am writing how I should define the project scope and how I have to control my scope in the execution phase. I will write it in requirement and scope management plan. These two are one of the subsidiary plans. As I said, what I am writing? I am writing these two are the subsidiary plans I have to create moving forward. Yeah. Along with that, you can write major deliverables. You will have high level scope in the project charter, right? From there, you will get this major deliverables. You can do a copy paste here. And exclusions. Exclusions means some of the things which is not included as a part of your project. These are at very high level. This you will get it from project charter. Yeah, cool. Similarly, how to plan and manage the schedule. That also you have to write in the project management plan. Now, kindly see the example that I have provided. The process of planning and controlling the schedule will be defined by the project manager in the schedule management plan. What I said while I was start discussing about the project management plan, you will be writing what are the subsidiary plans you have to create moving forward. What I'm writing here, the next plan I will be creating is schedule management plan. This is one of the subsidiary plans. In schedule management plan, I will be writing how to estimate and manage my schedule. Yeah. And also in project management plan, you can write important milestones on your project. This you will get it from project charter, because in charter you will be already having a high level schedule. Same thing. You have to write how you're going to manage or plan your resources and cost. How to plan and manage resources and cost. In that what you are writing, just read this particular statement. Yeah. So let's read it together. The process of planning, acquiring and controlling the human resources and the process of estimating and controlling the cost will be defined by the project manager in the resource management and cost management plan. So I'm writing that resource and cost management plan. It's also one of the subsidiary plans I have to create. Yeah, cool. Let me scroll down. Okay, let's read this particular statement. The resources that are decided to acquire or that are decided to procure and the process of procuring and controlling will be in the procurement management plan. As a whole, I am writing procurement management plan is the next document I have to create. There I will write how to procure and control the resources that I am going to take it from the vendor. It can be physical or it can be human resources as well. Similarly, how to do risk management, that also you have to write it in the project management plan. So you guys can read this particular statement. The process of handling risk must be written in the risk management plan. That's the next subsidiary plans I should create. Similarly, you will have high level risk in the project charter that you can copy and paste it in the project management plan. Yeah. You make a guess, quality management. So now what you will write here, you can read this particular statement. The process of achieving the quality goals will be defined in the quality management plan and PM should create it. In project management plan, you can write the quality goals also. A high level quality goals which will be in the project charter that you can write. Yeah. So simple. I am writing that in my project I have to create quality management plan and who should create it? PM should create it. Same. Communication and stakeholder engagement. In order to do communication and stakeholder engagement on your project, what plans needs to be created? That you have to write. You can read the example. PM must create communication and stakeholder engagement plan and define all communication and engagement strategies over there. Cool, this is done. How to do change and configuration on your project? Simple. Change control process. All change requests must be documented and approved through a formal process before implementation. The project manager has to define the change control process in the change management plan. PM should define configuration management process by creating a configuration management plan. Simple. How to handle the change and configuration, you have to write it in by creating change and configuration management plan. These are the other two plans you have to create. Similarly, in project management plan, you must write while you are closing your project, what are the activities you must do? So I have just given two activities, completion criteria. You have to make sure all deliverables are completed, signed off, final project review with lessons learned are documented, and you have to hand over your project to operations. So this is project management plan, guys, and this is the first document that must be created. Now let me give you an overview. By creating this particular document, what you are saying, moving forward, what are the subsidiary plans you must create, like requirements management plan, scope management plan, schedule management plan, cost management plan, etc. that you are defining and who should create those. Okay, cool. Now let's get back to the flowchart. So now project management plan is created. What next? For any project, after creating a project management plan, you have a logical thinking. What should be the next? You have to start defining your scope of the project, right? So that is obviously the next. And in predictive project, you should have a very brutal mindset. What is a brutal mindset you should have is, anything I do, I should create a plan and then I should follow the plan. Predictive is just following the plan. If you want to define your scope, the first thing you have to do is you have to create requirements management plan and scope management plan. After that, you have to blindly follow the plan. Yeah. So now if I start explaining requirements management plan and scope management plan, you will find difficulty in understanding. So now what we will do, let's skip these two steps and then let's talk about the next steps. You have to do these steps. After discussing all these steps, then we will look at requirements management plan and scope management plan. You will have a better understanding. Okay, but kindly be aware, after project management plan is created, these two are the next plan. You will do it. Cool. Let's assume that this is created. Now after that, what you will do, you will collect requirements. This is straightforward. So for your project, let's say our apartment project, I will be collecting all type of requirements like business requirements, project requirements, product, quality requirements, transition requirements, and stakeholder requirements. I will collect all the requirements. Then what is the next step? I will document all the collected requirements under requirement documentation, RD, requirement documentation, and RTM. RTM means requirement traceability matrix. So that's the next step. After documenting all requirements under RD and RTM, the next step is you have to define project scope. So what is scope? The work that you have to do in order to implement all the requirements. You have to do that. And then after defining the scope, you have to document the scope inside a document, right? In which document you will do it? Project scope statement. Yeah. And after that, you will create WBS. So what is WBS? WBS, it's nothing but it's a work breakdown structure. So how to create the work breakdown structure? You have to take a major deliverable. In this case, the apartment that you are going to construct is a major deliverable. Decompose that into these smaller deliverables so that you can assign these smaller deliverables to your team members so that they can do the work. For example, let's take apartment. Second level of decomposition. My apartment should have living room, kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, balcony, and my living room should have, TV stand, television stand, and I need a space to keep my sofa and so on. So this is called WBS. It looks like a tree. Yeah. So after creating WBS, you have to create WBS dictionary. So what is WBS dictionary? The details of WBS you will be writing in the WBS dictionary. As I already mentioned in the intro session, I'm not going into the details of these things because this is just a flow chart. Okay, cool. So now it's a time to talk about the first step. So what I said, before you start collecting requirements itself, you must create requirements management plan and scope management plan, right? Now let's talk about requirements management plan. See, whenever you are creating a plan, you must understand one thing. You will not do the actual work. You will write how to do the actual work. For example, this is requirements management plan, right? What you will write inside it, how to collect the requirements, how to document the requirements under RD, means requirement documentation, and requirement traceability matrix. Then in the execution phase, how you will manage the requirements. These process you will write in the requirement management plan. Now, let's see a template of requirement management plan so that you will have a better clarity. Okay. So now what you're seeing on my screen is requirements management plan. Purpose of the plan, let's not see it. As I already told, what is the first thing you will do in with respect to requirements? You will start collecting requirements. In requirements management plan, you will write the requirement collection process. This means how to collect the requirements. Now, let's see an example that I have given. As a first step, the project manager should conduct a workshop and invite sponsors, SMEs, and key team members and collect the requirements. While collecting requirements, PM should review codes, safety, and environmental guidelines. Now ask yourself, am I actually collecting the requirements? No. I am writing how to collect the requirements. When I say how, who should collect the requirements? Who are the people needs to be involved? And what are the tools and techniques that I'm going to use? According to the example I have given, who should collect the requirements? Project manager. Who are the people needs to be involved? Sponsors, SMEs, and key team members. What is the tool and technique that I'm going to use to collect the requirement? Workshop. That's called how. Anything you do in predictive project, guys, create a plan and then follow the plan. So now I have written how to collect the requirements. While I'm actually collecting the requirements, what I will do, I will just follow the plan. I'll conduct a workshop, I'll call these guys, and then I'll collect requirements. Then what next? Requirements documentation. I won't do the actual documentation of requirements. I will write how to document the requirements. Now, let's see the example I have provided. All the collected requirements should be documented by key team members in requirement documentation and requirements traceability matrix. Am I actually doing the documentation? No. I am just writing, after collecting the requirements, I should document everything inside RD and RTM. And how to do it? What do I mean by how? Who should do it? Who are the people needs to be involved? According to the example I have given, who should do this documentation? Key team members. This is called process. These are the content you will be having in the plans. Yeah. And the template of requirements documentation and requirement traceability matrix can be found in the following link. Your organization will have a template for RD and RTM. You can give the link here. Yeah. Cool. Next. Requirements approval. After you collect the requirements, how to get the approval? That also you have to write inside requirements management plan. You guys can see the example. All documented requirements must be reviewed and approved by the project sponsor and key stakeholders, and project manager should get the approval. So I should get the approval. Cool. Then in the execution phase, how to verify and validate the requirements. That also you have to write. Now see the example. For verification and validation process, please refer to the quality management plan of my project, and I can give the link of the quality management plan. Moving forward, I will be creating quality management plan. There I will be writing what are the testing I will be doing on my project. I can see that. Yeah. Then how to handle changes in the requirements in the execution phase. That also you have to write. So please see the example I have given. Any changes to the requirements in the execution phase should be handled by change control process. The change control process will be mentioned in the change management plan. Simple. Then tracking progress. How I will track progress in the execution phase on the requirements. How? Process. Write that. See the example I have given. The project manager will periodically review the RTM. When I say RTM, requirement traceability matrix, and ensure the requirements are being met, and will flag any delays or changes to the stakeholders. The communication process will be mentioned in the communication management plan. How you gonna track the requirements? By conducting a meeting with your team members. These information you would have mentioned in the communication management plan. So these are the content you will be having inside requirements management plan. So guys, moving forward, we will be creating lot of plans. I'm not going to discuss the content of each plans in this particular video. You take this one thing as a reference, and then you yourself visualize what will be the content you will have inside the plan. Okay? As an overview, while you're creating a plan, you won't be doing the actual work. You will be writing how to do that work. I've already given enough examples for you. Yeah? Good. Let's get back to our flowchart. Now, as a first step, as I already said, requirements management plan and scope management plan. Scope management plan, you will write how to define the project scope, how to create project scope statement, how to create WBS and WBS dictionary. These things you will write. These two things has to be created. Then by following this plan, you will be doing these activities. Cool. Next. Are you seeing this? Quality management plan, stakeholder engagement plan, and communication management plan. These three plans you should create before you start collecting requirements. Let's try to understand why. For that, let's try to understand what will be the content in the quality management plan. In quality management plan, you will be having the quality assurance and quality control activities that you will be doing on your project. For example, quality control. What are quality control? The testing that you want to do on your project. If you are in software industry, I want to do unit testing. I want to do integration testing. I want to do requirement testing. These will be the content, right? Now, why you have to define this before you start collecting the requirements? Kindly be aware, when you are collecting requirements, you will collect quality requirements also. What are quality requirements? The testing that you have to do as a part of your project. Those testing you will be defining in the quality management plan. While you're collecting requirements, you will take those testing from there. Why stakeholder engagement plan and communication management plan has to be defined before you start collecting the requirement? Simple. Ask yourself, what will be the content in stakeholder engagement and communication management plan? The communication that you have to make it to the stakeholders, right? While you are collecting requirements, you will be collecting stakeholder requirements. What are stakeholder requirements? Reporting requirements can be classified under stakeholder requirements. Means when you want to report your project status, those are nothing but stakeholder requirements, where you will be mentioning all those communication inside these plans. Those communication will also become as one type of requirements. So that's why before you start collecting requirements, along with requirement and scope management plan, you have to define quality, stakeholder and communication management plan as well. Yeah, cool. So now once the scope statement, WBS and WBS dictionaries are created, that's it. Your project scope is defined. Now have a logical thinking now. After defining your project scope, what next you have to do? You have to start estimating time, resources and cost. So that is the ideal next step, right? Now, as I already said, predictive is plan driven. Anything you do, means if you want to estimate time, resources and cost, you will create a plan and then you will follow the plan. Now you have to start estimating time. If you want to start estimating time, what is the first thing you have to do? You must create schedule management plan. In that you will write how to plan and manage your schedule. Now example, I have already shown an example of requirements management plan, right? From that you just visualize. After creating schedule management plan, you will follow the plan. By following the plan, the first step you will do is, you will decompose your work packages into activities. WBS, it's a tree-based structure. I have already explained that to you. What is the last level of decomposition of WBS? Work package. In order to create the schedule, the first step you will do is, you will take your WBS, you will decompose every work packages into activities. After that, you will estimate activity duration. You will give time for each and every activity. It's a kind of, you're setting a target. Okay, this activity I will be completing within this time. You will be doing that. After that, you will be creating a document called activity list. Consider activity list as an Excel file. In that Excel file, in one row, you will be documenting all the activities name. In the another row, you will be mentioning the duration of those activities. After that, you will identify project milestones. Why? What are milestones? These are the important events on your project. Let's take your PMP exam prep as a project. What can be the important event? The day you are completing your live training, that's a milestone 1. And the day that you are getting your PMP application approval, milestone 2. And the day you are getting your PMP certification, milestone number 3. Yeah. So you will identify project milestone. From where you will get it? From project charter. So what next? You have to sequence project activities. Sequence means, this activity has to happen first, followed by next, followed by next. You have to sequence it. For sequencing, you can use lot of techniques. You have, a precedence diagramming method, finish to start, start to start, finish to finish, and I think one more thing, start to start. Yeah. So use these 4 techniques and then do sequencing. Along with that, you can do lead and lag as well. So once you have sequence, that's it. Your project schedule, you will be having it. Now time estimation is done. You will have your project schedule. You have all the activities information, duration estimated, and dependencies are created between activities. Cool. What next? You have to start estimating resources. Only if you start estimating resources, you can estimate cost. Now in Waterfall project, in Predictive project, anything you do, plan must be created. If you want to estimate resources, what you have to do? Create resource management plan and then follow the plan. Yeah. After creating this resource management plan, you guys already know it will have how to plan and manage your human and physical resources. After, creating resource management plan, you have to start estimating resources. Now for each activity, you have given time duration, right? So for those activities, you have to say how many resources you need to complete that particular activity in that time duration. That's called estimating resources. Now, you have estimated resources. Consider, let's take our apartment project. You want to construct a balcony, and for that you have decided, I need one labor who can construct that balcony. Now you have to check, right, whether that labor is really available during that particular time period or not. Where you will check? From resource calendar. Yeah, resource calendar is your organizational document. So you will have a list of all available resources and the names of the resources and their availability, when they are free and when they are occupied, along with their leaves also. So you will check the resource calendar and then you will take a person and then you will assign. Yeah. And after that, what you will do, as I said, you will assign resources to each activities based on the resource calendar. So now resource assignment are done. What next? You have to estimate cost. Resources are assigned. Now you have to estimate cost. Yeah. So again, for predictive, it's a plan driven. Anything you do, plan must be created and then you have to follow the plan. For cost management plan. After creating cost management plan, follow the plan. You will estimate cost for each and every activities because resources are already assigned. You can easily estimate cost. Consider contingency reserve. You know what is contingency reserve? Known, unknown. It's a kind of a buffer you will consider for the known risk you have identified. I'm not getting into the details. Consider contingency reserve. Then you will draw S-curve. The S-curve is nothing but, that is how you have to represent your project cost. Draw the S-curve. Then you have to consider management reserve. Management reserve means unknown. Then you will compute your project budget. And then you have to draw the cash flow as well. Yeah, on your project. It's called funding requirements curve. So that is something you have to draw. So this is what you will do with respective to cost. So now time is done. Resources are estimated. Costs are estimated. So what next? Let's talk about risk. Anything you do in Waterfall project, as I said, what must be created? Plan must be created and then you have to follow the plan. Yeah. So I'm talking about risk. What must be done? Risk management plan. Yeah. Where you will be writing how to plan and manage for the risk. After that, you have to start identifying the risk. You already know this particular video, it's not about explaining each and every concept. It's about the process flow. Start identifying the risk. And after that, you have to prioritize the risk in order to identify what are the important risks on your project. There are two types of prioritization technique. One is called qualitative risk analysis and quantitative risk analysis. After prioritizing the risk, you have to define risk responses for each risk. Risk responses are nothing but the action that you have to do to address the risk. And now you are seeing an arrow here. This risk response are going where? Here it is going. This means contingency reserve is the buffer that you will be considering for risk. Whenever you are defining a risk response, especially when you are accepting a risk, you must create contingency reserve. That's why I have pointed out an arrow here. And let's see where this risk response is going. So this is going as a part of project scope as well. Because risk response is an action. It's an activity that you have to do as a part of your project. So this should be part of your scope. Yeah? Cool. Next, we talked about risk. What next? Procurement. When I'm talking about procurement, predictive is plan driven. As I said, anything you do, plan must be created. What is the first thing? Procurement management plan. But now you're seeing an arrow here, right? So let's try to understand from where this arrow is coming from. Here we go. This arrow is coming from here. So this means when you are assigning resources to activities, you won't be assigning only human resources. You will be assigning physical resources as well. You will be estimating physical resources as well. Consider, for our apartment project, in order to, construct a living room, you decided I need some cement. Okay, you know what a cement is. Now that's a physical resources you need, right? Consider your company don't have infrastructure to manufacture cement. So what you will do? You will procure it. Yeah. So resources and procurement are closely connected. Whenever you are estimating a human or physical resources, when the human resources is not available on your project, and when the physical resources is also not available in your company, not project, in a company, so you can go for procurement. So when you're going for procurement management plan, and after that follow the plan. Cool. When the resources are not available, I said you go for procurement, but you have to do make or buy analysis. Let's take the cement example. By doing make or buy analysis, you will analyze whether I can make this cement by myself, by procuring some equipment, or can I buy the cement from a vendor? Yeah. So you can analyze. Once the buy decision is made, you will start procuring. Starting procurement will happen in the execution phase. Let's talk about that later. Yeah, cool. Next, let's go here. There are two plans are here, right? Change management plan and configuration management plan. And you can see there are no arrows pointed out here. This means on Waterfall project, you can, in the planning phase, you can create these plans at any point in time. It doesn't have any connection. What change management plan will have? Change management plan will have the change control process that you have to follow as a part of your project. That you will have it. Configuration management plan will have the configuration management process that you have to follow as a part of your project. Yeah. Along with that, what is another plan you're seeing here? Training and coaching plan. So you guys have to have one thing in mind. Whenever you are assigning the resources to the activities, kindly check whether the resources are possessing the necessary skills and competencies to do your project work. When the resources are not possessing the necessary skills and competencies, look for another resource. If the another resource is not available, consider training or coaching for them. Now consider for a particular resources you want to give training. You have to document it somewhere, right? Where you will document? In a document called training and coaching plan. Yeah, cool. I'm scrolling down. Then at last, what you have to do? You have to do scope, schedule, and cost baseline. So what is baselining means? Getting approvals, and then you have to fix your scope, time, and cost. And one common question I always get, Gautham, why you are getting approval here? Why after defining scope here itself, why can't we give an approval? Why you are getting or why you are doing baselining only at the end of the planning? So this is one of the common question I get from my students. The answer for this particular question is, ask yourself, consider you have defined the scope. At the time of, estimating time, for all the scope you define, consider you need 12 months. But sponsor is asking you to complete your project within 10 months. There might be a chance you have to remove some scope. When you have already got approval on the scope at this point in time itself, means before estimating time itself, now you can't remove the scope. You have to follow change control process to remove the scope. So the right time for doing baseline is first define your scope, estimate your time and estimate your resources, cost, then do the baselining together. So after doing baselining together, what you will do is you will integrate all these three baselines and then you will create one more plan called project management plan. So now you should ask me a question. Gautham, you said the first thing you will be creating in the planning is project management plan. And you are again saying that I will be finishing my planning by creating a project management plan. You should ask, Gautham, what is the difference between these two project management plan? This means I'm starting my planning phase with project management plan. I'm ending my planning phase with project management plan. So what is this one? And what does integration means? This is a logical question you should ask me. Integration means bringing everything together in one single document. That's called integration. For example, now let me show you a template of this project management plan, which is in the bottom. Yeah, here we go. So what you are seeing in the screen is a next type of project management plan. Yeah. So why I am calling this as a project management plan? What you have in column number B, scope. What you have in column number C, time. What you have in column number D, resources. What you have in column number E, cost. So what is this? This is called integration, bringing scope, time, resources, cost all together in one single document. That's called integration. This document also can be called as project management plan. This means simple. In planning phase, you are starting with what? Project management plan, which is that Word document. You are ending with what? A project management plan, which is nothing but this Excel file. Yeah. So these are the things will happen in the planning phase. So kindly be aware, it's not necessary that you have to always do your project planning in the order that I have mentioned. These process can be tailored. Tailored means you can change this order according to the needs of your project and your company. Yeah. So I am just showing you the best practices. Okay. Cool. So now once the planning is completed, what next? We have to move to the execution phase. Now let's try to understand as a project manager what you should do in the execution phase. Now, in the execution phase, as it is defined or shown in the flowchart, so these are the activities you as a project manager should do. Yeah, and kindly be aware, in planning we have a flow. In execution, these are the activities that you have to do. But if you ask me, Gautham, what first, what next, that I don't know. You can do these things will happen mostly in parallel. Okay, cool. Let's get started. So once the planning is completed, as I said, you will be entering, your project will be entering into the execution phase. Once you are entering into the execution phase, the first step you have to do is you have to acquire all the resources that you have estimated. You have to bring people inside. Yeah. Then after bringing everybody inside, you have to conduct kickoff meeting. So you have to invite all your project stakeholders and your team members in a meeting. And in that meeting, you have to explain your project planning. Yeah, you have already assigned people to work, right? You will gain the commitment of the people. Consider that I am one of your team member. I will be attending the kickoff meeting. You will be saying as a PM, hey Gautham, I have assigned you these activities and these are the duration I have estimated. You will be asking whether I am okay with that. If I said okay, that's it, you got my commitment. Yeah, and then you will be explaining the roles and responsibilities of each team members. So these are the things will happen in the kickoff meeting, I would say. Yeah. Once the kickoff meeting is over, what will happen? Team members will start doing the work. So they will do the actual work. Now, when the team members are doing the work, in the execution phase, you as a project manager also has to do some work, right? So what are the work that you will be doing as a project manager? Let's discuss. You will do communication according to the communication management plan. CMP means communication management plan. You will be start doing the communication. And then in SCP, when I say SCP, stakeholder engagement plan, there you would have already defined engagement strategies. You will follow that engagement strategies and then you will keep the stakeholder supportive. And then in planning, you have already defined risk responses, right? The activities that you and your team has to do to address the risk. Those activities you will implement and then you will actually address the risk. You will manage quality, like you will conduct quality audit. You will be following lot of quality assurance process and then you and your team members will be ensuring the quality. And then in the planning phase, for some of the resources, you have already decided to buy, right? So those items you will procure, you will develop and manage team. In the planning phase, you have already defined training and coaching plan, right? According to training and coaching plan, you will give trainings to people and then you will make sure team members are completing their job on time. That you will do. And then one of the things you will do is you will document all the lesson that you are learning on your project, positive and negative experience in lessons learned register. So these are the things will be happening in the execution phase. Now, if you ask me, Gautam, what is the order? Just because I mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it doesn't mean like it will go in the same order. These things can happen in parallel. Now, execution is done. What next? Monitoring and controlling. As I already said in the beginning, it's not like once the execution phase is completed, monitoring and controlling will start. No, it's not series. When you are executing the project itself, you as a PM will monitor and control. These two are parallel process. Yeah. So now when you are monitoring and controlling your project, what are the activities you as a PM will do? Let's discuss. You have to keep on look for changes. If any changes are happening on your project, when you are finding any changes, handle all the changes with the change control process. Then what you have to do? You have to monitor and control your scope, schedule, cost, quality and resources. This means make sure that people are completing all the requirements, successfully implementing the requirements, test it, and then make sure that manage the schedule. Make sure that people are completing the work on time. Make sure that you are not exceeding the cost that you have already planned. Ensure the quality of the product or software or the building that you are constructing. That's called managing quality. Resources. Make sure that the resources are available at the right time for doing your project work. It can be physical or human resources. These things will happen as a part of monitoring and controlling. Then you have to monitor risk as well. For example, you are implementing risk responses here, right? Whether those responses are really addressing the risk, you have to monitor. And when you have identified the project risk, if I move here, in the planning phase, right? That's when you identified project risk. Kindly be aware, identification of the risk is not the one-time activity. Throughout the project, you have to monitor risk, make sure that you are identifying new risk and so on. And then monitor communication and engagement. When you are creating communication management and stakeholder engagement plan, in the planning phase, right? In the planning phase, first time you are creating engagement and communication management plan. While you are executing your project, stakeholder communication expectations may change. Always monitor that. So when it is changing, change the plan and do the communication according to the stakeholders' expectations. That's called monitor communication and engagement. And you have to do monitoring and controlling of your procurement as well. So in the execution phase, you would have already made contract with the suppliers. Monitor and control your suppliers and make sure that the suppliers are respecting the terms and conditions, and make sure that you and your project is also respecting the terms and condition which is mentioned in the contract that is made with the supplier. So these are the things will happen as a part of monitoring and controlling. Sorry for being repetitive. Execution and monitoring and controlling is not a series process. It will happen in parallel. Once this execution phase is done, that's it. You would have got the product in hand or software in hand. In our apartment example, you will have the apartment in hand. Then what you will do, you will close the project. While you're closing the project, as a part of the closure, you have to do a lot of activities. I have not mentioned those activities here because the purpose of this flow chart itself is just to explain you the order. That's it. It's not to get into the details of the concept. Yeah. So perform all closure activities. And one thing I have forgot to explain. In monitoring and controlling, when you are monitoring and controlling the scope, during that time you will validate scope as well. So what is validating scope means? Whatever the deliverables that you have created, you will give it to the customer and then you will get the acceptance of the customer as well. You will do internal testing and also customer testing. Okay, finally we are here. We reached the end of this particular video, and I strongly believe you guys have really enjoyed the content, and trust me, Waterfall lifecycle has 50% weightage in the exam. Please make sure that your concepts on Waterfall lifecycle is very, very strong. Now, I would like to bring the topic which I was saying in my intro, free giveaway. Now at this point in time, I'm very sure you would have already guessed what is that giveaway. The giveaway is nothing but the flow chart that I have shown, which has the predictive process flow, is the free giveaway that we are going to give. Now the next question comes, Gautam, how to get this? In order to get this, you have to just do one thing. Please visit our website www.eduhubspot.com, which you are seeing on the screen. On the right bottom, you will be seeing an option to do a live chat. Initiate a live chat, you will be connected to a support person. That support person will help you to schedule a Zoom call or a phone call with one of our educational experts. You have to just spend 15 to 20 minutes with that expert. What will happen in that call? Our expert will understand where you are at your PMP exam prep, and they will also make you some proposals what you have to do next in order to get that PMP certification. Along with that, that will be an opportunity for you to learn how EduHubSpot as a company is coaching our students. At the end of the call, trust me, you will be getting this free tool, means this predictive process flow chart for free. It will be on your inbox. So in order to reach our expert, you can follow another technique as well. In our website, on the right top, you will be seeing an option called book a free demo class. According to your convenient date and time, you can schedule any time you want. Again, the same process continues. You will be connected to our educational expert in a Zoom call, and at the end of the call, you will get this tool. So from my bottom of my heart, I wish you all the success for your PMP exam prep. And if you guys have really liked this video, just smash the like button. And also, I will be giving my LinkedIn ID in the description of this particular video. Please be kind enough in sending the connection request. Let's stay connected and let's help our community. Along with that, another request I'm going to place, please subscribe to our EduHubSpot channel. The reason I'm asking you guys to subscribe is, it's for a simple reason. I'm going to launch a lot of videos moving forward. You will get a notification whenever I launch a video, and I strongly believe that will help your PMP exam prep. Moreover, I will be giving my email ID as well that you're seeing on the screen. My email ID is gautham.sutakar@eduhubspot.com. If you have any queries related to PMP or generic project management stuff, don't hesitate to write me an email. Within 24 hours, you will get my response. Again, thank you so much. I will be soon meeting you all in another great video. Until then, bye. Take care.